Hey YouTube, welcome to a new video. I'm Philip Jacob and you're watching Metal Beings. So in today's video we are going to talk something. We are not going to review a car. So it's about modification of vehicles. So if you know that especially in Kerala right now there's a lot of fines and things going on modified cars, and that's especially after this lockdown, a lot of things is going on. So, and also it became a big issue, and one of the higher officials in the motor vehicle department has given a speech wherein he's told which is allowed, which is not allowed, which is totally acceptable. He's given a better light on this situation, but there are certain things which are still not clarified yet, and I have my views on it. It's not challenging anyone, it's not questioning anyone, it's just my views on certain things. So let's go ahead and have a little chat on that, and please do put in your comments down if you agree with me or if you have some inputs also. So let's go ahead with the video. I'm actually breaking down this video into three parts. So the first part would be what I totally accept with what the motor vehicle department official had told. The second, what has to have a little bit more clarity. The clarity was not given on those issues. And third, the real issues. I want to talk about that also. And again, I'm telling, these are just my point of view. It's not questioning anyone or not challenging anyone. The first thing what I accept, he told about the bull bars. So yes, that is totally what he told is right. When you add a bull bar to the vehicle, what happens that it affects the crumble zone or the sensors, everything as such at the time of an accident. So let's say when the bull bar is there, it affects the vehicle whom he hits on, or a pedestrian, whatever it is. The effect is more bad to the other person. At the same time, for him, if this car has airbag sensors and the crumble zone portion, everything like that, that will be totally affected. It will totally not work as per the engineering what is said to be. That is totally acceptable. Then he told about the number plates. Yes, number plates needs to be standardized. It shouldn't be with full of fonts and different things as such. The style should be on something else. Number plate is something for your reference where it has to be done. It's a proper law. It has to be adhered. Next is the headlights. Yes, people change the headlights to more powerful headlights. That is wrong. Yes, you can change it from a sodium to a white light. As per me, you can change it. But when you're changing it, you have to make sure it is within the limitation of the law. Because when you don't do that, of course, you're going to affect, you will have a good view. Yes, you will drive safe. But the opposite person coming next to you will be completely blinded and he will not have a safe drive. So that is something which you are doing with or without your knowledge. You're affecting another person's life actually. So that is completely acceptable. And also horns. The horns, what you do, it has to be within certain limitations. When it's more loud and things like that, we ourselves would have gone through such situations where sudden a loud noise comes, you literally feel that within your heart. So that's something also which needs to be totally accepted. So these are the things what he mentioned should be controlled and everything, and I totally accept in this. And next, this is the second segment what I am coming to say, which I have certain doubts on. So the first thing, exhaust. So exhaust, he says that we are not supposed to alter the exhaust and change stuff like that. One main thing why they tell it, it's because of the noise. And majorly, why do automobile enthusiasts do this? See, anywhere in the world, if there is this percentage of people, there is at least 20 to 30% who are proper automobile enthusiasts. And they are not the people who can buy such big cars. They can't buy a Ferrari or a Lamborghini and such flaunty cars. They can't drive them. They can't buy them actually. And they try to find that happiness in the small car what they have, the old car what they have. They try to find that happiness in that. So that is how this modification comes in the first place. So now it's like a person who's rich. He can buy a car. He can have a loud exhaust. At the same time, a poor guy is not allowed to do that. So I don't think it is being equal to everyone. He also is making that same noise but in a lower cheap car. But that's not accepted, whereas a flaunty car or big higher end car is accepted. If it comes from the factory, it is accepted, but if it is done at home or by his own expense, that is not allowed. So that is something which needs to have a certain lenience on. Yes, it shouldn't go over the limit. Yes, there are some people who put the exhaust very loud. It could disturb the people around. But at least there should be a norm where there is a limitation on it. Okay, you can do it, but do it in such limitation so that it's smooth, it's nice to hear, and at the same time, it's a pleasant for others to listen to, but not disturbing anyone. So if that is done, that would be really great. And another clarity which wasn't given was on the accessories. For example, let's take a Royal Enfield Bullet. He can buy the exhaust from shops, he can buy it from aftermarket shops, but that is allowed. But when he uses on its vehicle, it becomes unethical, it becomes something against the law. It is completely not right. If there is something being a mistake, it has to be taken from the roots. That is how we see it. Of course, even when we see around anything, even in movies or news or anything, the root cause is being caught, not the later part. So the root cause is when they are being sold like this, people buy it. Of course, people buy it and they use it on their vehicles. But when it becomes a usage, it goes against the law. So there should be something against that. Okay, if there is something against the quality, let the good quality exhaust come into the market. People are ready to spend on that. Let them come. Let that be sold and let that be utilized. That will create a little lenience. That will give that fun of owning a vehicle. So that is something which I wanted to share on, which is my proper view. And also, when we talk about the alloy wheel is a big trouble happening. Anybody who buys a car and wants to modify, the first thing they do is change the alloy wheels. Yes, so the person in the higher official in the motor vehicle department had told that yes, you are allowed to use alloy wheels, but within that limitation, whatever comes from the factory, the little same size or something like that is allowed. Too big fats are not allowed. So this is my personal view, having it being into the automobile engineering. I just wanted to add on something to this point. Especially, he says that factory one is the perfect one. There is nothing which cannot be perfected more. The people who do it in the factory are also human beings like us who design it. So the first thing is that smaller cars like that, when it comes out to the market, they have very thin wheels. So there is a reason behind why they come out with these thin wheels. The thin wheels are just to increase the economy of the vehicle. As they have a lower friction, they have the it is called the rolling resistance. So when they have a very low profile, what happens is that the rolling resistance is lower, so the vehicle tends to move a little bit longer, and they can show it as a good efficient vehicle. That's all it is marketing, it's pure marketing. But when you consider the safety of this thin tire, it is not as safe as a much more fatter tire. When the tire is so less, the surface area is less, when you're braking, it is not going to be completely effective as a thicker tire. So this is something which needs to be having a light on. It's not that those tires are the perfect tires for the car to work. If you have a little bit more fatter tire, what happens is that you get a little bit more surface area, you increase the grip on the vehicle, the braking is more efficient, and everything. There are so many plus points. The only negative is that he might lose a little bit of the efficiency on the vehicle, which is not much. It is very minimal. Maybe like 0.2 or 0.3 kilometers is maximum he's going to lose by increasing the width of his tire. Apart from that, he's not going to lose any more. And again, alloy is again making a change in the engineering is on the positive basis. What is an alloy? Alloy is a material which is lightweight. The wheels which come from factory are pretty heavy. So we have something called as laden weight and unladen weight. Unladen weight is something which the chassis doesn't carry. And when this weight is being reduced, naturally it increases the efficiency of the vehicle. So when he's buying an alloy, he's actually doing good to the car. He's increasing the efficiency of the vehicle, and he's putting a broader tire, he's increasing the handling characteristics of the vehicle. And along with that, he's getting what he wants the most, the looks of the vehicle. So this is something which needs to be given a little bit lenience. Yes, when it goes over the limit, anything when it goes over the limit is wrong. I totally understand. When the tires are too fat and it's too bulky and things like that, it's not right. I understand. But there are certain usage of that. For example, when you consider a Thar or a Jeep kind of a vehicle, what happens is that they want bigger tires. It is for their personal usage when they want to go off-roading. It's also a hobby for most people just by using these vehicles. buy a bigger wheel and use it for off-roading, and at the same time it is safer on the road also. There is no negative because of those wheels and things like that. Suspension, for that matter, when a vehicle is being lowered, it actually increases the aerodynamic efficiency of the vehicle. But just because our roads are bad, these people tend to drive even more slower on those roads. They'll never cause accidents because of that. So that is one thing which I wanted to share on. And sun films. So presently, if you see, sun films are allowed up to, I think, 20 or 30 percentage. It's allowed. But as per me, I would say even that is not supposed to be allowed. The glasses have a tendency of breaking into small granular pieces at a time of an accident. So what happens is that it doesn't become a big sharp object which could kill you literally. So when it becomes into these small tiny particles, what happens is that it avoids that accident injury. So that is the main effect of it. But when you put a tint on it, when you put a sticker on it, what happens? It takes away that character, and naturally it's going to affect the engineering of that purpose. But that's something which is still not given a clarity on. When 30% is accepted and the 80% or the higher thickness is not accepted, and when they are talking about the safety of the vehicle, I think 0, 20, 30, nothing should be accepted. It has to be the right thing. And they also told about stickering. He told briefly that stickering is allowed. Roof is allowed. You can blacken out the roof. You can put stickers. It is allowed. But he also says if it takes attention of people and that causes accidents, so that shouldn't happen. So we are not going to do something like that. We are just going to do stickering to increase the styling of the vehicle. And to be frank, if it is to take attention of a vehicle, I think the billboards on the roads has to be removed. The advertisements on the roads has to be removed. Those are the ones which take your attention. Beautiful actresses and actors, when they are being projected on the billboards, that takes the attention of the vehicle. And when that is allowed, I think the stickering on the vehicle with little attractive designs or graphics on them shouldn't be an issue. Both do the same thing. If that is allowed, this also has to be allowed. And now I come to the third segment of the video. So on this, what I want to say is the things what we actually need to keep an eye on. So all these is being done for the safety of human beings, for the safety of the drivers, for the safety of the people on the road. But people who modify their cars, they love their cars so much. They take care of them like their own family member, like their babies. They take care, they keep it clean, they maintain it so well, they do whatever is necessary for that. They spend as much as possible to keep it in the right condition. But the straight opposite thing happens. I think people who don't maintain their cars needs to be held on. For example, a person who doesn't clean his car properly, his windshield is going to be dirty. He's the one who's going to cause an accident due to poor visibility. A person who doesn't maintain his car well, let's say alignment of the wheel or tire pressure, he has to be affected because he's the one who's going to lose his tire grip or is going to have a burst or cause an accident. He's the one who has to be affected. He's the one who needs to be fined upon because he's not maintained it well. What if he something breaks down on his vehicle when he's driving? He's the one who needs to be affected. And that's something which I personally think needs to be focused on. And other laws, for example, at night when these lorries and buses, they don't even do the low beam, they just keep it in the high beam. Those cause accidents. They need to be put light on. Lane discipline. People who don't follow the proper lane discipline, they should be fined upon. So when they don't follow the lane, they cause more traffic. That causes other bad things. The people who drive on the pavements where pedestrians walk, people on the bikes, they take over it and they drive. They are the ones who needs to be affected. But to be frank with you guys, modified vehicles it's a particular segment. It is something where people love their cars. It's an art where people enjoy doing stuff. They make sure it is perfected to the core. It's a separate industry. People are being employed just by that. And putting a full stop to that is totally, I don't think it is right, I must say. It needs to have certain leverage. Countries like Germany, America, they have certain rules where people are completely allowed to modify their vehicle, but with certain limitation. Exhaust is allowed, but they have a certain decibel which is allowed for it, and it's not very low also, it is pretty high, and they are allowed for that. Same way, suspension, they are allowed to lower the suspension, but on certain limitations. Maybe that should come to India. The vehicle which is illegal over here is legal in many other countries, and those countries are completely successful countries. They have this leverage and they allow them to do, and it's a particular, and it's a separate industry on the whole. So I think we should also come up in that way. We should have some leverage, we should have something. It's not a crime. Totally, these things are not a crime. They do it with love for the vehicle. They don't modify the vehicles to do some crime on it. They love it. They are in love with that machine and they do that. So I think it changes in the future. I hope it changes. So for a better future. Let's see. So that's it from me. This is all I wanted to talk to you guys. So if you have any feedback, and if you feel if I've told anything wrong also, I'm really sorry. If I've told anything wrong in this video, I'm totally sorry. I'm telling it right now itself. And if you have any thoughts on this, please do put your comments down in the comment box. I'll see you guys later in another video with another car. Bye bye.